Got basketball in focus. Shane Dribshack, the court report for a Thursday night, and going to get started tonight with some high school basketball talk, a little college basketball talk, maybe some pro talk. Got Corvin Davis with us to start things out. JV boys basketball coach at Grimsley, just down the street from Shane Dribshack. And don't forget, Shane's got the big wing specials going on for the Super Bowl. Big wing specials. I think it's 50 wings for $35. Can't beat that. Again, check out the wing specials at Shane's for the Super Bowl. Super Bowl Sunday coming up soon. And don't forget the website. Get in the Super Bowl contest at GreensboroSports.com. Got that Super Bowl contest going there as well. Chance to get a $100 gift certificate. Check that out. $100 gift card, you might say. Speaking about a gift, no gifts for the Grimsley Whirly JVs. I'm not even sure of their overall record. Corvin Davis, the coach, is here with us. But I do know I was reading today at Jerry Rowe's blog, and I guess Jerry Rowe's article, newsandrecord.com. And again, he was talking about the big game you guys had against Dudley a couple weeks back when Bruce Davis hit that game-winning shot. Saw the crowd in the video spill onto the court. It was like fans came out of the stands. You guys have had some success with that Grimsley JV team.
Yes, we have, Andy. Matter of fact, that was a great shot that Bruce actually put up. Actually, we were down by 10 points, and I called a timeout right there, probably about the 157 mark, and told him that we were going to go into our extend our press a little bit and start trapping. And actually, that actually got us back in the game because we were down 10 points. And once we got down where we had tied the game, and then when we got the ball back with 1.4 seconds left, I drew up that play. I wanted to have them lined up on the out-of-bounds play that we normally set up to take the last shot.
You had like a four-man stack going there, right?
Yeah, I did. I had a four-man stack, and what I wanted to do was to see how Dudley was going to play. If they were going to drop back, then we were going to just try to get in and get a quick shot. But if they played us up tight, I was going to have Bruce to roll to the basket and for an easy layup.
How much time was on the clock when you guys put on?
I think it was about 1.4 seconds on the clock. So that not much at all. So as soon as we got the ball in, you could hear somebody say, "Shoot." And when Bruce shot it, you couldn't hear nothing but net.
Did Bruce come across half court, just across half court, or was he still behind?
He was still behind half court. He sure was.
So the inbounds pass comes into the backcourt. Bruce has got about half a second to get set up. About
half a second to get set up. And actually, Peter Rizzi, who was taking the ball out of the ball, actually did a great job of getting the ball in. Because I figured that if Dudley pressed up on us, that we could get a quick layup to the basket, but since they dropped back, and I think they saw what we were doing, we were able to get the ball into Bruce, and he just turned immediately and threw up the shot, nothing but net.
Was it a heave, or was it a pretty good straight ball?
Actually, it was like a shot. Actually, it was like a shot because, you know, right before halftime, he did that same shot, but it was a little deeper, and he had almost hit it. It just hit off the back of the rim.
Well, are you guys having a good year? What's the year going like for you?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we're 9-5. We played in the Christmas tournament over the holiday. We played second in the tournament down in Asheboro. Kind of tough for us this year. You know, we've lost a lot of players, but we played well. We played two teams out of Australia, which both teams beat us. They were real tough kids. Actually, that has made our kids a lot better, especially on the defensive end.
Tell you what, 9-5, not too bad. I know you're probably happy with the improvement of this team. And up next, you got somebody, but you don't know when you're going to play them because the way this crazy schedule's been going, all these snow days, all these days lost for cold and snow and ice and rough roads. When will you play again? Who do you play next?
We actually are supposed to play tomorrow, Andy. We playing Southern Alamance. That was our first conference loss of the year. And like I told the guys, I had to put that one on the back of my mind to make sure that when they come up again, that we'll be prepared and ready for them.
Have you faced Page already?
Yeah, actually we beat Page. Matter of fact, we was down by 20 in the second quarter, and we tightened up our defense again, which, you know, as I always tell my guys, defense win championships, offense win games. We clamped down on them on defense, actually beat them. I think the final score was 66-60.
You've had some close games then?
Yes, we have. We had some real close games.
What do you think? Is this the first year you've been the head coach, or second year, third year? How long have you been?
Actually, this is my second year with the JV boys, and which I've really enjoyed. I've been coaching for a long time.
Oh, I know you've been coaching.
Yes.
Been around basketball.
Yes,
for
I
eons.
sure have. Ever since I was probably about 8 years old when I really started playing.
Was it down around Lumberton down there?
Laurinburg, North Carolina. I played at Scotland High School.
Scotland County High School.
Yes.
That's pretty big. That's like a 4A high school.
Yes, it is a 4A high school. Actually lost to Dudley in
the
football state championship.
Some very good athletes down there.
Yes. Matter of fact, Lee Robinson, who was my teammate in high school, also played with me at A&T as well. So, you know, a lot of guys they're starting to get recruited from that area to come up to the Greens area and play.
And you kind of think about this Grimsley team. I remember back a couple of years ago, Evan Fancourt was over at Grimsley. He left Grimsley, went to Southern Guilford. I think he's trying to help them out right now. They're trying to get that program turned around. And you get hold of this team, got them at 9-5, going in the right direction. You guys got a shot to win the conference, you think?
You know what? Matter of fact, right now we're 3-1. We play Southern Alamance tomorrow. I'd like to take the guys, we're going to take one game at a time. We can get by this Southern Alamance game. We actually would be in a real good position to actually win the conference because we beat Dudley and Page, two of the big rivalries that we have in the city of Greensboro. You know, that's two big rivalries. But if we can get by Southern Alamance, and then after Southern Alamance, we're going to play Smith, which is a makeup game that we're supposed to play Wednesday. We're going to play them next Thursday.
And now when the JV game is over, do you move up and help the varsity coaches?
Yes, I really do. I really enjoy basketball and try to get those kids prepared for the playoffs and get ready for a championship run for the state championship.
What about Grimsley varsity as they look over the rest of the season? Where they're at right now, we look at that and also look at their trip down the road. I know they've got coming up next, I think they've got, like you say, Southern Alamance, just like you do. And then next week, I know they've got Dudley next Friday night. I think your game outstanding against Dudley because you got the win, but the boys from the varsity, I think they lost like 3 points. That was a close game.
They only lost about 3 points. And I tell you, the one thing about it, I could really say about playing against Dudley, the rivalry game, only the varsity guys losing by 3. And I think one thing that we have to learn from that is, if you have 27 turnovers, missed layups, missed free throws, that's a lot of points that you leave on the floor. And think about you only lose by 3. But I think our guys in a good position to finish pretty strong this year, to move up in the conference level where they can put themselves in a position.
Well, somebody, I just jumped this in, somebody needs to give Page a challenge. Page has played so well. They haven't really been tested all that much yet within the conference.
Right. I think the only time they were tested, Andy, was I went to the Martin Luther King tournament over there Monday, and I think they beat Trinity.
That was a heck of a game. Beat Trinity, and they had Kalia Sykes, who used to be at Page. He was playing for Trinity. Trinity had some good ball players.
Yes,
Page, they did well because they didn't fold down the stretch. They stayed together and pulled that out in that last shot by Anthony Eves. But I think I've interviewed Anthony probably 3 or 4 times in the past couple of years. Interviewed him. Every time I interview him, he's hitting like some game-winning shots.
Yes, man.
Crazy type.
Hey, a kid that can really feel the light up, man. He can really shoot that basketball. Even Ty Grace, probably two great guards that play very well together. They complement each other very well.
Yeah, Ty's had to change his game a little bit this year because last year he's kind of playing off the ball a little bit more.
Right.
This year with the early injuries and early football work going with Jalen in the backcourt there has changed things a bunch for him because Grace has had to take over and work everything back this year.
Yes.
Jalen Gavin, being kind of busy early on because he got dinged up some football.
Yes.
Then Jalen had a couple of football visits for schools he was looking at. But, last year he was like the designated point guard. He just ran that club the entire time.
He sure did.
Gavin always loved to watch him play, pretty unselfish, doesn't mind giving the ball up. Ty Gray is going to get the ball, but Ty Gray is also going to be looking at that shot because he can have that outside shot.
And he can really shoot the ball. Like I said, you got to get a hand up on him. Just like any great shooters that you play against, you got to get a hand up and you got to know where they are every time on the court. Just like I tell my guys, I tell them, when we play these rivalry games against the Dudleys, the Grimm, the Southern Alamance, we got to recognize shooters. We got to make sure we play solid defense. We got to make sure we box out, rebound, hit our free throws, and take care of the basketball. That's a key. You take care of the basketball, you hit your shots, you hit your free throws, and you box out and you take care of the basketball. A lot of times you come on top.
That coming in tonight, talking with you and also talking with Paul at Shane's Rib Shack, where they've got that great Super Bowl special. It's 50 wings for $35, big, meaty chicken wings for the Super Bowl. We were talking about the fundamentals of basketball, and the thing about that too, it's really sometimes based on the number of times you throw that ball away. A team that throws the ball away too many times is not going to win too many games.
Not going to win too many games.
Watching NC State play last night with Tyler Lewis in that backcourt.
Right.
I could watch Tyler Lewis film, Bobby Hurley film, Kenny Anderson film on these point guards all day long and all year long. Just the guys that, maintain possession and allow their team to keep the ball and at least get a couple of good looks at the basket.
Right. And one thing you said, and you hit on that point right there. The one thing about basketball, and I tell a lot of kids, you have to be fundamentally sound. As a point guard who orchestrates the offense, he's like the coach on the floor, the captain of the team. You got to make sure you follow his lead. Great point guards, like Kenny Anderson, Bobby Hurley, Thomas Griffiths, who I played with at A&T.
Oh man, he was the ice.
Fantastic point guard. yards. You know,
you look at Coach Griffiths. He's now the coach of the Grimsley varsity. Not that big of a guy, but boy, he played like he was about 6'5", 6'6". That's how solid, how fundamentally sound he was.
Right, and just think about it. If that had been 6'5", but you know, entering in Sturridge, a lot of kids don't know that he was picked up over at Moore Gym playing pickup basketball. That's how he got recognized.
Wow.
And that's how he became the point guard at North Carolina.
Was he already in school? And,
yes, he was already in
wasn't
school.
on the team.
Wasn't on the team, but they found him at Moore Gym.
Man, what a find that was.
Yeah, well, hey, that was a great pick. You know, great complimentary player with me and him playing together in the backcourt, which I really enjoyed.
Now, you were the shooting guard. Did they have the three-point shot back then?
Yes, they did.
It already had come in? So that
yes,
really benefited you then?
Yeah, right.
Man.
And I wish they would have had it when I was in high school.
Boy. Go back and change some of those records, right?
Yes,
some of those numbers.
Probably change a whole lot of records.
On the average, because I've had a couple of kids in here lately who've done pretty well scoring-wise. We had Kara Shutt, you know Kara from Southeast.
Southeast.
She's 3 points shy of 1,000 for her career. Had the injury a couple weeks back. Now her career is done. Missed 1,000 points by 3.
3 points.
Had Haley Chandler in from Southern Guilford. She just hit 1,000 points for her career. We had the Junior Robinson kid, Lamont Robinson from Eastern Alamance. He's closing in on 2,000 points for his career. That's a lot of points for a 5'7" guard.
That's a lot of points. And I tell you, that kid has taken a lot of shots, probably got a lot of steals. But to score 2,000 points on any level, that's a lot of points.
What were you at in high school? I know you had to be 1,000 or more at least.
I probably average about 18, 19, 20 points a game. You know, some games I get 25 and 30 points.
I was thinking maybe in A&T you might have been sometimes around 23, 25, 26 points on a hot night. You got the hot hand, they feed you the ball.
They feed you the ball. And that's one thing about, I try to get my kid to see. If you have balanced scoring, you have the 15, 16, 17, 18 points with your starters, and you got 2 or 3 people coming off the bench every about 8, 9, that's balanced scoring. And then if you can hold your team under at least 40% shooting, there's no way that you shouldn't win games every night.
And we were talking about Greensboro Day School on the way in here tonight about the fact that they're solid this year. I think they're like 22-2 or 23-2 now, but I mean there's no player on that team averaging anywhere near 20 points a game. It's all about 13, 12, 11, 10 points a game. They're probably giving up about less than 50 points a game defensively, so that's the kind of team you really want.
You know, I can say, a lot of role players on there. You know, like I said, Brian Rouse, who's an exceptional player who can really jump, very athletic. Marquell McIntyre. You know, they have a really solid core of guys, and they're well coached.
I tell you, this kid Trevor Mayo, not too many people have heard of Trevor. He's another one of those role players.
Yes.
He might have a night where he gets 12 or 15, but then, I mean, another night maybe 8, 9, or 10, but he's always there and always
there. You're right, Andy. He's a great kid, man. You know, a lot of these kids I went to school or grew up with around their parents, so I know the type of kid that are playing at these schools. You know, one thing about playing basketball, and I tell kids, you know, each and every day, you have to put your time and work in it. Just like when it comes to books. If you're not putting your time in for when it comes to your grades, you're not going to make it. So the most important thing is books, then basketball. But you have to put your time in to get better.
How are the guys getting their time in this week with all this crazy weather going on? How do you get your time in now? I actually saw a couple of days back, I was almost in a state of shock. I think in back-to-back days, I saw kids outdoors when it was a little warmer playing outdoor basketball. You just don't see that much anymore.
No,
saw a little kid on the drive, whip here off a battleground out there, dribbling the ball, taking shots. Saw about 3 kids one Sunday mornings out on the exercise trail. Those guys over the neighborhood goal. Some of the shots they were taking, I would not recommend, but at least they were out there playing ball.
Right.
But now the kids can't play because school is out, and you can't have after-school activities. How do you guys stay on top of the game now with school being locked down?
I'll tell you one thing, the way I stay on top of the game is I love watching basketball. You know, I'm a great student when it comes to the game. I love watching Duke play, especially Coach K, the way he's coached. And I try to do some similarities like that, especially when I played at A&T on a Coach Corvin. You know, the same concept as defense win championship, offense win game. But the one thing I try to do when I'm on a day like this is to try to watch a lot of basketball, because I know I hadn't had the opportunity to have practice but one day. So I'll be able to, you know, go into the locker room tomorrow and tell the kids what we're going to work on, what we're going to start in, and how we're going to be able to, you know, pull this game out Friday. We're not having but one practice. But to tell them to stay focused, make sure my guys have actually gone out or maybe gone to the rec centers and probably shot around or at the Y and got their legs back under them and did some shooting around. That's the one thing about it is...
I guess you got to tell them to go to the rec center, don't get in some of these crazy games, some of these too crazy pickup games where you might lose a few ankles or a knee or something.
Just go out and do some shooting, get one of your buddies from school, y'all go out and take some shots. You know, just some shots, man, to get your eye back on and to be able to hit some quality buckets.
You know, the thing about it, I was going to ask you about this, going to ask any coach about this. I'm kind of curious about watching this past week. Could you take a couple of this is just off the subject, but again about basketball. I've been watching games, speed guards up and down the court moving fast. Could you take a couple of guys that are pretty fast, put these basketball players in track shoes, not cleats, but like your running shoes.
Right.
Put these guys in running shoes, which are low-cut shoes, tape their ankles up tight, and just say, run this ball, crazy run. Would that be an idea, an option to use? Or would it be better just go with a high-top shoe? I don't know about these guys. These guys are so fast, we're going to blow somebody out of the gym. Going to put the low-cut running shoe on their feet, tape up those ankles tight just to be safe, protect them, and say, hey, let's run it.
One thing I've done, Andy, is I've played in the low cuts, three-quarter cuts of sneakers, but I always had my ankles taped. And the one thing about it, if you got weak ankles, you shouldn't wear low-stop sneakers. Begin with. But some of these guys are so quick, there's no reason why they shouldn't get their ankles taped.
Yeah.
Because, you got some of the guards now, they're like lightning quick. Like I know when I was in college, I think it was my sophomore or junior year, we played against Southern University, Avery Johnson, who was lightning quick, who was leading the nation in assists. He was averaging over 16 assists a game, and I'm talking about a really quick guy.
And you guys got a chance to play them?
Got a chance to play them. I did.
Wow.
It was tough.
How many assists do you think you got that game?
Oh, no, I don't know, but I know it was tough trying to guard him
You got to
all
drop
night.
a step right quick, got to keep the step dropping on him every time.
Yes, you
Wow.
do. You really
Is he
do.
one of the quickest guards you've ever seen?
I don't know if he was the quickest guard or Ralph Talley that played at Norfolk State or Sherman Douglas when we played against
Sherman
them.
Douglas out of Syracuse, right?
At the Dean Dome. My junior year, we played in the NCAA tournament.
Wow, against Sherman Douglas.
Yes, quick
wow, I
guards.
haven't heard that name in years.
Oh, yes.
Man, that's unreal. It's amazing. What about that team, though? You had Coach Don Corbett, you had yourself, Corvin Davis, you had the point guard Thomas Griffiths, and you had Joe Binion inside, right?
No, actually, that was Claude Williams and Kenny
Claude
Cox.
Williams. Who was the guy, Kenny?
Kenny Cox.
So no Binion.
Chucky
Binion didn't make that
No,
one.
actually, Joe was a little ahead of us.
Who was you mentioned? Beckford as well?
Beckton, Chucky Beckton.
Chucky Beckton.
He was on that team.
Was ever a Beckford through there when you were there? No Beckfords?
Matter of fact, it's a Beckford playing now. He's
Yeah,
playing.
yeah,
This
exactly.
is his second year. He's a sophomore over at A&T.
So the inside guys were Claude Williams and Kenny
Cox.
Kenny Cox.
And also Lee Williams, who came off the bench himself, and one of those guys.
Must have been you and Thomas Griffiths who must have scored, because those are the two main names I remember.
I know Chucky Beckton, he could shoot the lights out the basketball, man. And Claude and Kenny were so athletic as far as rebounding, running the floor. That my junior year probably was one of the best years we had. We went undefeated in the conference, 16-0 in the conference. First team at North Carolina A&T State University that ever went 16-0 in the conference.
16-0.
That was a great year.
So you guys were a 20-win season just like
Yeah.
that all the time.
Oh, yeah. We had some great teams, some great guys, and that's what I'm trying to give back to the guys at Grimsley, me and Coach Griffiths, to build a solid program, because the kids can get an opportunity, to get a good education, to go to college, play at a high level of basketball, and just enjoy, that time that you have when you play college ball. Probably one of the great experiences of my life to be able to, to get a basketball scholarship to such great university as A&T State University.
So it's a good thing
Yes.
for you, because you've used it after your
Yes.
college career. You've gone
sure
to do
have.
something with it.
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
What you're doing some more things besides coaching at Grimsley. I know you coach some during the summer, and you probably got some skills and some other basketball teaching you do as well.
Yes, me and my wife, we also run a nonprofit organization. It's actually helping kids to get back physically fit. It's called D-Up Basketball Fundamentals and Skills Training. It's called Develop Skills, Understand Nutrition, and Power Up to Fight Childhood Obesity. So there's a lot of things that we're doing in the High Point area, in the Greensboro area, in the local schools, the Guilford County schools.
So you're able to get in the schools?
Yes, we're able to get in schools and do some of our programs. So it's been fantastic.
That really is good. Now, is that all tied in with the county? Is that all tied in with the state? How is that something?
No, actually, it's a nonprofit. Actually, my wife actually came up with that name. She actually came up with the name D-Up. And because I played basketball, we use that as a guideline. Because we go and do different things. We do like puppet shows. We do the health and physical fitness. My wife teach on health and physical fitness when we go to the different schools and things.
That's a good creative way to get in there, too.
It's fantastic. And
What age group are you working with?
we do from ages, actually from 6 to about 17.
So you're going from all the way through the whole gamut.
Yes, because the kids need it. They need
Now, who sets up what schools you'll go to when you go to these schools? Do you guys set that up through the schools? How's that get set up?
Matter of fact, my wife actually coordinates with the ACES program director, and we set that up. And normally we do it like when they have like a day out of school, like a teacher's work day.
Gotcha.
We'll go in and do it for about 4 hours. And we also do Thomasville as well. We do like a 2-week session in Thomasville in July. So it's been very rewarding.
Now, when you get this set up on a day when the teacher have a work day, do the kids still come to school that day?
You know, the kids that come to the ACES program.
I got
Yes,
it.
ACES program.
ACES program?
ACES program.
Gosh,
Yes.
a lot of interesting stuff going on there. So you're doing some basketball, some
Yes.
public work, all kinds of things with these kids.
All kind of stuff. And I also work with ESAS as I work as an employment specialist. I work with adults with disabilities.
Wow.
As well.
Staying busy all the time?
Yes,
then?
all the time.
Out of A&T, did you settle here in Greensboro? Did you go back home?
No, actually, I settled here in Greensboro because I love Greensboro. When I came here in '85, and after I graduated, I said, I would like to make Greensboro my home, and me and my wife, we've been here ever since then.
Wow, that's a good thing. Now, talk about your daughter a little bit, about Raylan Davis, your daughter.
Matter of fact, Raylan, who's a senior this year, who decided she wanted to start playing basketball. She actually started playing basketball probably during the Saturday leagues over at Vandalia. And I said, this is something that you really want to do. And I said, I'm not going to push you, I'm not going to force it on you, but I want you to be comfortable with what you're doing. So she started playing, and probably around the 8th grade, I remember in her 7th grade, she went out for the basketball team and got cut. And my wife was...
That kind of shocked you, didn't it? Hey, what's going on in my blood here?
It actually shocked my wife because she was like, you going to go say anything to the coach? I said, no, I'm going to say, I don't have to do that. I said, but we'll let everything take its course. So my daughter was tried out for the varsity basketball team of 8th grade year and made it. So
she got cut in the 7th and made the varsity in the 8th.
8th grade year, and ever since,
wow, her
progress has improved.
It's a pretty big jump.
Every year.
We can call Michael Jordan down in Charlotte and say, hey, we did something like what you did down in Wilmington.
Yeah.
We went from the 7th grade cut to the 8th grade varsity.
Yes, and she's done very well. And they expect for my daughter to do a whole lot. She rebounds, she plays solid defense. And people say, I'm not bragging because my daughter, because one thing about it, I'm hard on my kids, not from the standpoint that hard and you can't do this, do that, but the point that when you're playing sports, you got to give it everything you got.
And did they win a state championship last year?
Actually, they finished second.
I knew they were right there because Vandalia had so many championship teams last year.
Yes, they did. They had about
won the boys
6.
varsity, and they won the soccer, won the baseball.
Soccer, won the baseball.
Second with the women then.
Second with the women in soccer. But the girls have played very well. And that's their goal this year, to play well, to do well in the tournament, and the possibility to come out with a state championship.
Do you think they're as good this year as they were last year?
I think they're more solid. They probably got some young girls, but they can be very well. They can be very good.
I saw that game against Grimsley. You're talking about the young girls. Think about it now. They got a couple of kids that were pretty scrappy against Grimsley.
Yeah, actually, my daughter, she played on that JV team. And that JV team will be really solid too. They got some real good girls. They play hard and they work hard.
When that Grimsley varsity game, it looked like a little kind of like an Asian girl out front.
Yeah, that
for Vandalia.
Yes,
scrappy.
Yes, she is, and gonna be a good kid. I think she's just a sophomore. She's gonna be a good ball player.
A couple of guards for Vandalia in that game. I watched those girls in the backcourt. I mean, the thing about it was they were down maybe about 15. Might have got down by as many as 20. I think like they were still playing hard.
Yeah, they still
trying to make something happen.
They were still playing hard, and they fight back. And that's one thing I tell them. Don't give up. Keep fighting, keep working, because once you keep plugging at it, things will change and things will turn around.
And this is your daughter's last year.
It's her last year.
Wow. What will she do after? We're going to ask her about this too. You probably give us some early insight. What does she do next?
She actually wants to go to college, and she wants to continue her career playing basketball. She wants to go into athletic training.
That's a smart move.
Yes, it is. That's something that she's always wanted to do. And I know you're going to talk to her, and I'm going to let her tell you a little bit more about what she wants to do. But she wants to go to, we actually have, I know she's applied at Liberty. She's heard from Liberty. But she wants to go to a school where she can play basketball. Because, when you go into athletic training, some schools where it's kind of tough, where the course is so tough, so it's hard to play basketball. But I told her, this is an opportunity, a chance for her to be able to play on that level, which would be fantastic.
Back in the day, I played a little football up at Liberty back in my college days.
Oh, yeah.
For some reason, I still remember the trainer's name. He was also from North Carolina. It was Ken Brown. trainer back in that's a long time ago. For some reason, little things like that always seem to remember.
Oh, yes.
You must have had to tape a few ankles or something. Some other guy. Those guys always, telling about trainers trying to get the scissors.
Right.
Need to get this cut off.
Just cut off.
Yourself.
Oh,
tape
yes.
Need to get the scissors. Need to get this wrap cut. I want to get this over with. Get it off.
Get it off my foot because it'd be so tight when they tape that ankle. Tape that ankle.
You try to make the guy make an incision, and I'll tear it the rest of the way. That doesn't always work when he gets kind of sweaty.
You're right.
So it's hard to get off.
It is. It is.
So Van Day right now for Raylan Davis, and Grimsley right now, the JVs for Coach Corvin Davis. And what about yourself? You want to stay with this Grimsley program for a while, keep building that, and eventually maybe move on out, kind of spread your wings, go grab a varsity job somewhere down there?
You know what? I actually like what I'm doing here at Grimsley. You know, building the program. You know, keeping these kids on the right track. You know, my biggest thing, man, is want these kids to be successful in the classroom.
Right.
You know, that's the biggest thing.
This is a hard time right now too, because you guys are coming off the exams.
Coming off the exam period. You know, sometimes when they're doing exams, you normally lose guys. You know, as far as academics. So my goal is not only as a coach, but as, you know, being a father myself, with 3 daughters, to make sure these kids are staying focused on their books, their grades, making sure they're doing the right thing and staying on course, because you can easily fall by the wayside. And I told them, don't let basketball carry you. Let your mind and your books and your academics take you, because one day this basketball going in.
You know something about it too, but they're having the exams, just had the test. You almost sometimes have to go find out how they did.
That's right.
Because if they did good, a lot of people will come tell you.
They
didn't do too good, somebody's hiding something.
Somebody's hiding something. I always tell them, I want to see your report card.
Yeah.
So I'll be looking for report cards probably on Monday.
Some coaches sometimes are staying busy academically. They're not only looking at their own team, they're kind of curious about what happened to the other schools. Did they lose anybody too?
Did they lose anybody too?
Because I remember back even in the private school days, you hear about some kid got knocked off at Gospel Light. Somebody just got knocked off the team. Half the time you believe half of what you hear. But, you know, like you say, people are kind of concerned about what they've got going into the next game.
Right.
You got everybody still.
I still have everybody. And I thank all the young men for working hard and diligent in the classroom. Because it's important, man. I know it's tough sometimes, you know, playing basketball, you know, and then trying to do books. But I tell the kids, you know, everybody watches you and see how you gonna respond and react. So you always got that bullseye on your back. Most athletes, or every athlete, everybody looks up, you know, is that I'm a role model.
Yeah.
You know, and kids gonna look at that.
And after you go out and play well in a couple of games, everybody's watching. They're going to keep watching to see what you're going to be doing next.
Yes.
Yeah. Because after you had success, because now people are interested in Grimsley. Just myself, I don't know if we had got in touch about Bruce today, but I've had to see that video.
Right.
It's a News and Record website. Click that video on that big shot he hit, and then from then on, I mean, Jerry Rowe is writing it all up. I guess Jerry's been all over this thing too in a big way. He's a good guy to have in your corner too.
Yes, he is.
He'll publicize, give us some good publicity. Jerry Rowe will, and then I guess his son's on the team too, isn't he?
Yeah, actually, Will plays both sports too. He plays football and basketball. You know, like I said, my young kids, they're going to be my future, because, you know, when I lose these 8 or 9 sophomores that I have, then I got to start back rebuilding and making sure that we're still a solid program.
Well, as far as it goes now, Southern Alamance up next, right?
Southern Alamance up next.
And 9-5 on the year.
9-5 on the year.
Let's go ahead and get Raylan in here next. Let's bring Raylan Davis in.
Okay, all
bring her
right.
up next. Corvin Davis with us. Grimsley Whirly JVs. His daughter Raylan's going to come join us next to tonight. Shane's Rib Shack. Dennis White's joined us. Don Moore is here. Got a few other people moving through here this evening. So we'll get Raylan in out of Van Day Christian. She'll jump on board next here at Shane's Rib Shack, and we'll get a few inside thoughts from her about how everything is going with basketball.